entered Ramadan, and indeed those who fulfill Ramadan and intend to fulfill its purpose, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are indeed in the line for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's showering of forgiveness. My brothers, if you ask yourself a question, what happens to a plant when you don't feed it any water? It dies. In the same way, if you don't feed this heart with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set upon the earth to feed it with, again it will be like a dead heart. And a heart which is dead, it will affect others, it will affect the family, it will affect those around you. Everything has consequences. And a heart which is dead also has consequences for those around that dead heart. Not only will you affect others around you, but you feel miserable. Without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only misery can be attained. No happiness in life can be achieved without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was the number one purpose and goal of the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to attach themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way which was phenomenal. They asked the Prophet alayhi sallam about fasting the entirety of one's life. And they asked him about half, and they asked him about a third. And the Prophet alayhi sallam, he said to them, shall I not inform you something that will remove the impurities of the heart? And look at this, what the Prophet was informing them. Shall I not inform you something that will remove the impurities of the heart? And that's what it was about. And the Prophet ﷺ informed them to fast 3 days of the month. The 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the Ayyam al-Bid. And this was something which was a strong action that will remove those things from the heart, the impurities. Over all your life that is attained, sin after sin after sin, it just inquires impurity after impurity after impurity on the heart. But that's what it was about. It was about purifying the heart and connecting it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was the number one objective of the Sahaba, to connect to Allah. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he was so familiar and had such a habitual habit of mentioning the name of Allah that by force he had to put things in his mouth to stop him from uttering the name of Allah when he went to relieve himself. That's how used he was and how much of a habitual habit he was in remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to just also draw your attention to one thing. Some scholars many years ago, and over the years, they've had many topics discussed. One of the topics is what action is best described. What is considered as the best of ibadah, the best of actions that a person can do. And some scholars, they said the best action that a person can perform in his life is that which is the most difficult on his nafs. That which is far away from being easy, but most difficult on his desires. And this is the thing, wallahi, Sahaba used to look towards a thing. Even some of the Sahaba would say, I love to fast on the hottest day. On the hottest day, why? Because it was most difficult on their desires. And it was so far away from the ease that this is something that they all strive to do. And this is something that the ulama said, this is classified as one of the best things that a person can do. One of the best type of ibadah. Another of the type of ibadah, the best type of ibadah, they said, that a person, he perform that which is required of him all the time. All the time. So when the time of Ramadan comes, he gives the haqq. When his guest comes, he gives him his right. When a person is in need, he may be a poor man, he fulfills his right. That a person in every single situation, at every time of his life, he performs the duty that is required of him. And this is the best type of action. This now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed us to enter this period of Ramadan, a period of rahmah, a period of mercy, a period of blessing, a period of the Quran. And one thing which I will tell you is that not acting is a trap. By a person delaying his amal and by delaying his action, it's a trap, and many people are caught by this trap. They delay their actions. They delay their actions and they're caught in this trap until they come to a stage in their life when they're old, when they have no means, when they have no money, when they have no sound of mind, and then they cannot do anything. Do not waste your time in this life. Do not waste your Ramadan in this time that we have now. You got one opportunity in this life. You got one crack at this life. Do not waste it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the means. He's given us, alhamdulillah, whoever's got health, whoever has the means, he should act now. Delay is a trap, and everyone should perceive it as a trap. And those who delay, indeed, they will incur the loss. It's upon every single one to realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us all that we need. He's given us all these things throughout our whole life, and He aids us and He assists us Yet many people always turn away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people run the other way from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave you sight, He gave you hearing, He gave you eyes, He gave you limbs, He gave you a brain, He gave you all these things that assist you and aid you in only recognizing Him. Yet in all these things we use it for totally the opposite thing. It's time to come back to Allah. It's time to come back to the objective that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you for. Once a person deviates from his objective, once a person deviates from that goal for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you, you will be in loss. Wallahi, those people who do not fulfill Ramadan, and those people who let Ramadan just waste, those indeed that will be in loss. But have hope. Have hope, come back to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seeks you out, but you seek Him out. You come to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come to you.